understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Because where I'm from, your grandson becomes the greatest hero in the universe.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, February 2nd, 2019. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sara Netzley, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have 5 new episodes this week.
Yes, happy Groundhog Day, Sara.
He did not see his shadow. We are saved. Yeah, welcome to February. Did you survive the polar vortex with all of your digits? Did you lose any fingers to frostbite? Or
Yes, yeah. I mean, we got a much more mild vortex than you guys did.
I swear, after 2 days of those like -40 temperatures, it was -20, and everybody was like, "I'm gonna run all my errands. I have got to get out of this house." So we're out in our light jackets, just like it's only 20 below. I ran dumb errands that weren't important just to be out. It was amazing. So that's your Midwestern report.
Yes. Yeah. For us, it was kind of a thing like, do I want to drive to work? And then, of course, your mother goes, "There are freezing people in Chicago. It's not that bad."
Oh no, we were your shame comparison. I'm so sorry.
Eat your broccoli.
Okay, we don't do that. We don't do that in the Midwest, just for the record, unless they're battered or covered in cheese. I was shocked by the number of things that got canceled, though. We usually are pretty tough about that, but everything, banks, courthouses, like everything. So mail delivery was suspended. It was wild.
Wow. Any exploding toilets?
No, we did have, did you see the frostquakes? The news about the frostquakes?
I did see that.
Yeah, we had those. I thought my house was going to tumble down, but it was just the ground. Do toilets explode? Is that a thing that...
Oh, that was, you saw in Minnesota, there were toilet tanks that the porcelain was just exploding, and you just saw this giant block of ice over the toilet.
That's an actual nightmare.
Yeah.
That's no, we avoided that. But they're farther north than us, so that tracks.
Yeah.
Now, Ed, are you cooking today? Is that what I understand?
Oh, yes. We're recording this the day before the Super Bowl.
Wait, do we have to say the big game so we don't get sued?
Sure. Yeah, the day before the big game.
The big game.
Because the NFL is really going to go bonkers trying to take our advertising money.
But NFL, we will take your microphones, hand them over.
Any profit you've ever made off of this.
Send your checks to HQ so we can pay the NFL.
So I am cooking a big game chili. And the slow cook recipe I have takes about 13 hours to make properly. So it's I want to start it at noon, and I'll probably take it off the boil around 1 a.m.
Well, that's dedication.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you do with it then? Does it have to hang out in the fridge?
You gotta let it sit for 2 hours, 3 hours, and then you put it in the fridge. My mother will not let me because we have to go to my uncle's house, and she will not let me just transport her pot. So I've got to transfer it into aluminum pans and then put it in a pot at my uncle's house and then heat it up.
Everybody listening is thinking about Kevin from The Office right now, right?
Yes.
Is this your thing, like your capital T thing that you do?
I've done it about 3 or 4 times over the last few years. You know,
Cool.
and only once did I not do it right, because there was 1 year where I tried. They say you should do the dry beans. I can never get that right. I can never figure out how to get that right. To me, whenever I do dry beans, they never soften properly. And I tried doing that once, and it just didn't really work. So I do canned beans. Sorry, but they tastes really good. But you know, the stew beef, when you have it simmering that long, it just melts apart in your mouth. It's really good. I really enjoy it.
Well, any food where you have to set an alarm to wake yourself up to transfer it to one, conveyance or another, that's dedication. I'm impressed.
Yes. Now I know a chili in Chicago. Is it anything like chili in Cincinnati?
I don't think so. I don't think Chicago has a particular style that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Because I was reading a story recently on Cincinnati chili, which is meant to be this different kind where they like throw it in spaghetti and really just pile the cheese on top of it, and it's something that looks strange, but the people of Cincinnati just swear by it. And I don't do that. I do more of a Texas style chili. But
yeah, I mean, when I make it, Texas style technically is no bean, right? But
mm-hmm.
I mean, like, authentic chili is no bean, but that's more what I do when I do it. I don't have a good go-to recipe. I will say we have talked about Steak and Shake on this program before. Steak and Shake has Cincinnati style chili, and that was founded about 30 minutes away from me in Central Illinois. So that, for some reason, that is a recipe that landed on that very local restaurant that has become a chain's standard menu. So there is some element of Cincinnati chili there with the spaghetti and all that. I don't know. This has been your DCTV and chili report.
Yes. So that's what my day is going to be like. Doing that.
So basically, we got to get through this so Ed can start cooking.
Yeah. And then, I'm going to be on the couch catching up on my Oscar movies. I think I got to watch A Quiet Place and that weird Willem Dafoe movie where he plays Van Gogh.
You've seen A Quiet Place, right?
No, I have not. I did not get around to it.
Oh, it's so good. It's just so rare that I've seen a movie you haven't seen.
I know. I'm not a horror movie guy per se. I like old school horror movies. But Quiet Place just slipped through the cracks. But I'm looking.
It's fun. It's clever. You're gonna like it.
Okay.
But picture, I took myself to the movies alone to see it because I don't have a lot of horror lovers in my life. And that struck me as one that you needed to see in theaters. So picture my irritation when I am alone in the theater. It's that late in seeing it in the game that it's like basically playing at 3:00 in the afternoon and that's it. And then a couple comes in and sits directly behind me with their popcorn. You will understand the magnitude of the sin there once you watch this movie, that the only other person in the theater they choose to sit right behind with their loud popcorn.
There you go.
Okay. Do you want to get into the DC TV stuff?
Yes, let's do that. You ready?
Yep.
All right. So first up is Supergirl, Season 4, Episode 11, Blood Memory. The Russians used a defibrillator on Red Daughter and caused a shockwave that turned a random American drug dealer's supply into pills that gave frat boys horrifying rage powers. Alex found she had lost a step, and John tried to put her at ease without letting slip that he had wiped her mind. Kara drove Nia to her hometown for a harvest festival, and Nia struggled with how to tell her family she received dreaming powers instead of her sister. James hesitated when one of his reporters presented him with a possible scoop on Lena's research. Last-minute reveal, Red Daughter lay in a coma, and her handler made a call asking for someone in America.
Dun, dun, dun. gosh, where to start with this? If we had a loser of the week at the end of the episode, it would be journalism. James.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's lance that boil right off the bat.
I swear I will not take the whole show to rant about this. I could, but I won't. That's so unethical. She sees something hinky about the funding. James says, "Tell me about it," and then he lies and tells her not to pursue it. It's all fine to protect his girlfriend. Who, side note, and game night at the open of the episode, when James and Lena say, "Oh, if we were on a team together, we'd have an unfair advantage because we're such a great couple," and literally everybody around that table laughed. Yeah. Yeah, no, you wouldn't. Red Daughter in her coma's like, nope. Even I can see it.
I just love that now James gets to go back to Lena and say, "God damn it, why can't you lie to me more?"
I prefer it when you keep me in the dark. I will say, Lena practicing board games was adorable. I liked that character moment a lot, that she would actually be like, okay, on our off time, we have to get really good at life. That was cute. That was the only part of that storyline that brought me joy. But yeah, those two need to stop talking to each other. Just stop talking to each other.
Yeah. There's all kinds of conflicts of interest going on here, but yeah, that was annoying. That was annoying.
But in all seriousness, this is a show that has made a point this season of trying to say journalism is good and important and should be protected. They've done storylines kind of emphasizing that, and then you've got James just being like, got a conflict of interest, not going to do this. That is contradictory storytelling, and that's really frustrating to me. So I like so much about what the show is doing this season. That was a big misstep.
Yeah.
And it was in the C plot. Good grief.
Yeah. But
all right.
But I trust Mackenzie. I don't think she's going to give up that easily.
Mackenzie, we're pinning our hopes to you.
Yeah.
Journalism needs you.
Yeah, I think this is going to come back to bite James. Just saying.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. This was really a really busy episode, and each plot line was so convoluted. And yes. First off, a shockwave from defibrillating a Kryptonian in Russia that goes all the way to creating some type of monster rage drug in America.
Yeah,
it was a bit of a leap.
Okay, Supergirl is a show about which you can always say it was a bit of a leap, but especially this episode, I thought maybe there was some kind of connection with Supergirl and Red, like maybe it was drawn. I'm just trying to retcon some logical. No.
Yeah.
And then we get kind of a rushed backstory for the drug dealer and the sister, and none of that. That was all done kind of hastily, which is fine. It was a busy episode. So you've got the Harvest Festival, which always makes me think of Parks and Rec. Watch your back, Leslie Knope. Paragon has a Harvest Festival. No, not Paragon. What was it called?
Aren't they in there? I don't remember the
it's in my recap for EW.com. Look it up.
Okay.
There. I just didn't write it down in my notes for this. So what did we think about the Null family?
I thought it was an interesting dynamic. I think it's funny because I've been watching Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and there's a clairvoyant family in that where it's passed down through the ladies. So I was kind of getting some of the storylines mixed up, but I did think the dynamic was interesting. I thought the idea that, it passed on to her even though she wasn't born a woman. I thought that was an interesting tact. I thought kind of the development, and this is kind of like bone crushing for Nia's sister.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, their dad is just kind of sitting there going like, oh, well, Uh,
Oh dear. He's Winnie the Pooh. Oh bother. That was definitely a statement that the show made, that it is inherited by a woman in the family and Nia inherited it. I mean, they're making a capital S statement, which is cool and interesting. And I'm sure part of what went into the casting and the scripting of that. I will say the sister was kind of obnoxious. I don't know. She was just so like, oh, mother's teaching me everything, and I'm her apprentice in this, and she's, oh, okay, pump your brakes, lady. But you do have to feel bad for her because she assumed she was the only option. Yeah, that was, but that the end scene where she turns on Nia like that, you aren't even a real woman, or whatever the quote was that she said, that I cannot think of anything worse to say when she's been Nia's, best friend and champion and biggest supporter. And that was just crushing. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So that was well written.
Yeah, I thought that was well written. I thought, even though Kara's kind of taking a back seat in that storyline, I still think that she was a present there, and it was important for her to be by Nia's side through that.
Yeah. Well, she had to be there every time Nia said, you don't understand what it's like to have powers. You don't understand what it's like for your sister to not have powers. And Kara would be like, no, I get it. I know about keeping secrets. Seriously, I actually really do. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And it's the kind of thing where, like, usually I kind of frown on that, whenever someone shares their secret identity. I think a lot of it's contrived, but to me, like, emotionally it worked. And I thought they got it to that place.
Well, and Kara's going to have to be a superhero mentor as well. So it just makes sense, I think. So it's not just Supergirl shows up to train you when you're in your dreamer outfit, but I do think there is some aspect of sharing identity there if you're going to be working on the same super team.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was nice. That was an emotional moment. And you could tell, I thought Benoist acted that really well. She kind of whips that car over to the side of the road and just like, oh, fine, stop it. I'm going to show you. So yeah, I like that a lot. So I made an offhanded comment in my recap for EW about, oh my God, how many flowing white dresses does the sister actually own? Because they were able to outfit like half the town with flowing white dresses from her closet. And one of the commenters pointed out that White Witch in the comics dresses in all white is named Misa, which is pretty close to what was her name? All I can think is Mira, and that's not right. But that they wondered if the flowing white dresses and the anger and possible seeking powers might lead her to turn into White Witch in the future. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Maeve was the character's name.
Yeah, thank you, Maeve.
I don't know. That sounds plausible. And it's the kind of thing where, like, they didn't leave on the best of terms here, and we definitely have seen points where, like, someone studies really hard and gets rejected, and yeah, I don't think she's gonna give up that easily. So yeah, I could definitely see Maeve, trying to go through scientific means, and maybe it goes awry. I don't know if she'll be White Witch, but maybe something definitely in that vein. Certainly plausible.
It does feel like they set up that was not a resolved situation, and so you could see, yeah, I agree, some kind of angst and back and forth with that. So well, I thought that was kind of interesting. Thank you, commenter,
yeah.
for picking up my joke about the white dresses and making me think about things.
Yeah, and what else? Yeah, and what's funny is, like, as well plotted out and well written that storyline was, the other half of this with Alex and John trying to hunt down.
Did it feel rushed to you?
It just felt squeezed together. It just to me, it felt like one, Alex's focus was split, because you're trying to do this thing where you're trying to track these drugs, and then also she's dealing with the other thing where, like, she, is kind of still feeling the side effects of the mind wipe and how that's going through everything. And to me, like, the focus was split there, and it bothered me a little bit. And
Well, the problem I had with it was she goes through this investigation, and within 5 minutes she says something is off. We haven't seen that. I don't know. I felt like I almost wish that she had stumbled throughout this investigation, and then next week or the next episode she'd say something is wrong. I just feel like we didn't get enough time to watch her memory holes affect her job. So they really rushed that part, I thought. But it got us to the interesting place. For 3/4 of this episode, I was really frustrated because Alex was given a full personality transplant. This wouldn't happen. Why is she so cold? It doesn't make sense. But they addressed it. John said, hey, Kara, you were her formational event for her attitudes toward aliens, and because she doesn't have that, she's more like Haley, and that once he said that, it clicked in my brain. Yeah, that by losing Kara in her memory, she is a different person. It is a personality transplant. So that was well done, I thought, but I just wished it had a little bit more time to breathe episode wise.
Yeah, it felt like they were telling instead of showing.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, but still overall I enjoyed it.
Yeah, of course. I even with continuity holes and logic holes and things, I always like Supergirl. I cannot say the same thing about some of the other shows sometimes, but I almost always enjoy Supergirl. Oh, one last thing. Our friend Steph from Gotham Lights /Orville Lights texted me at the end of this episode to say, you were right. And I texted back, well, of course I was, but about what? And she said, this friend in America that the Russians called, I think it's Lex also. So last week I had said, I think it's Lex, just to tie the storylines together. So now that we know they're calling somebody in America, does that make you think more or less likely to be Lex?
Yeah.
He's in prison. I don't know how you'd get a phone there, but he's Lex Luthor. He's probably got 8 phones.
Yeah. He's got a direct line. He's probably got one of those like really, really small Bluetooth headsets in his ear.
He's like an executive on the subway. He's like talking loudly in the prison yard. Doesn't care who hears his business.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's going down. Speaking of that, does that lead into news for this week?
It really, transition, yeah. Yes. So GV Nation had an interview with John Cryer, who talked a little bit about his motivation for Lex and how he's playing him. He said he likes it when villains don't think they're villains. Lex thinks he's doing the right thing, and in this case, he's living in a world with superpowered beings. And so to me, that dovetails with what Lena's trying to do, which is just even the playing field a little bit. So Lex isn't trying to be evil. He's doing what he thinks is best. He said he's got some great scenes with Katie McGrath, who plays Lena. That I'm really looking forward to. The interviewer asked if he has any scenes with Tyler Hoechlin, and he said no, which I think that was made pretty clear in the crossover that Hoechlin's on. He's off world, right? Yeah. So we're not going to see him. Mm-hmm. He talked about his favorite Lexes over the years. He said Gene Hackman is his Lex, which makes sense because he was in the movie with him. Mm-hmm. But he also loved Michael Rosenbaum on Supergirl and Clancy Brown, who is the voice of Lex in which of the animated series?
Superman, the animated series from '96.
Well, there you go. Mm-hmm. So I thought he name checked a lot of the good Lexes there.
Yeah. Still no love.
He did not mention Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, and still no love for Sherman Howard. Come on, people.
So I am looking forward to John Cryer's debut as Lex.
All right.
And that's what I got for Supergirl.
That's Supergirl. All right. Next up is Arrow. Season 7, Episode 11. Past Sins. After Oliver publicly promised to be more transparent with Star City, someone kidnapped a news reporter and demanded Oliver quit working with the SCPD. Diggle asked Curtis to break in the new members of the Ghost Initiative. Laurel was accosted by a creepy guy she thought she had killed on Earth 2. Last minute reveal, Dinah got into her car and found a note just like the ones Laurel was getting.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I'm just going to say it. The thing I enjoyed the most about this episode was Laurel.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't understand it either. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's because I'm so not into the Ghost Initiative at all. And I just... Look, if Stephen Amell doesn't want to be Arrow anymore, let him off the show. But don't... And if he's not going to be Arrow, I applaud putting him in a really tight sweater. Great. That's a good trade-off. But I'm not particularly interested in a show where Stephen Amell wanders around in a tight sweater and doesn't shoot people with arrows.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I feel like that's what we're getting so far this back half of the season. I don't know. Am I...
No. He's definitely kind of taking a back seat. I think they're letting the ensemble breathe a little bit. Plus, he's getting used to his new role. I think it's going to ramp up soon. I think he's sort of warming into this new role as kind of like a liaison with the police department. I do think that he did have a full storyline here. It wasn't like last week where he was just stuck in his apartment.
True.
I, however, was really into the Ghost Initiative stuff, and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I thought that there was a really well-written turn here, where at the end of one commercial break, you think Ricardo Diaz has killed Curtis and escaped. And I thought, everyone at Argus needs to be fired. This is egregious. This is total incompetence. How the hell does this happen? And then you come back from break and you realize that, no, it was a VR simulation. And Curtis tricked Ricardo into revealing his source. And I thought that was really cool. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting that at all.
Now, I'm curious. Did you watch this live or as close to live as you could?
I watched it live, yes.
Okay. So I didn't. I way time shifted, and I had not heard chatter to indicate that somebody died. So I figured something was up. So I think that's a different experience that we had, and that's my fault for not watching it live. I should try to do that more often. But I didn't think it probably had happened that way. So it just changed how I approached everything. But that's kind of interesting that we had different responses based on I'd had a couple of days to absorb Twitter not talking about, oh my God, I can't believe it, or yay, they did that. I like Curtis. That he's the ensemble character I'd be sad to see go. So
yeah, and he's the only one at Argus who has any sense.
Yeah, what is John Diggle this season? What is that character? Speak of personality transplant, like I was talking about with Alex and Supergirl, that dude is not recognizable at all.
Yeah, no. He's totally in. He's just, I don't know. He wants to win. He's figured, I got this cushy job. I'm going to do everything I can to keep it.
I got the government retirement. I can't jeopardize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, I get to go to work every day looking like I'm a security guard at a grocery store.
Wait, do your grocery stores have security guards?
Some do. Yes.
What?
Yeah. Well, do
you live in Gotham?
No, but I do live in a neighborhood that can be tough sometimes.
No, this is just fascinating.
Not every grocery store, but a couple that are just a few blocks away from me. Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would have gone mall security. We don't even really have bank security here. We just have...
Oh, no. The grocery store security guard is a very special breed. It's a different type of security guard.
What? Can we... Okay.
Yeah.
Could you give me 60 seconds on who or what is a grocery store security guard?
No. It's, standing by the door, looking out. It's usually like a gray type uniform with like the black pocket flaps. And it's the shirt's like half tucked in and you're still trying to look tough and like you're in the hood, but you need to have a little bit of authority. It's this weird kind of like half in, half out look that's very funny.
Huh. Now, is this people who wanted to be police but couldn't for whatever reason, or is that just Hollywood telling me that's who those security guards are?
I can't really speak to that, but
Okay, next time I want you to interrogate them about their hopes and dreams. The next time you're at one of those grocery stores.
yeah.
Will that end up with you tased?
I don't know. to me, it's just someone looking for a good job. That's more of it. Like, I'm working now, and I'm gonna be keeping this. All right, no one's gonna screw this up.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fascinating.
Yeah.
So is it for shoplifting purposes or just to keep people from like robbing?
It's shoplifting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's shoplifting and stopping and just trying to crack down on gang fights in the parking lot, that kind of thing.
Yeah, just being a deterrent. I imagine just having somebody there is enough to.
Yeah.
Huh, Interesting. Okay. Anyway, back to Arrow. Thank you. I was curious. Thank you.
Sorry. So and I did like the Laurel storyline. I did think it was interesting how she runs into this guy and immediately thinks it's not the Earth 1 version of this. It's the guy who she killed on the other Earth. That I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah, that's a weird assumption to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I didn't need a Laurel backstory. Honestly, I really didn't. I did like the opening scene where they talked about her being chosen as the DA, and she talked about what a challenge it was. Yeah, you think?
Mm-hmm.
That part is still ludicrous. But I loved her and Felicity having wine. When do we get to see female friendship on this show? Never. I don't love that it's Laurel she's doing it with, but you know what? They have pretty good chemistry together. I enjoyed those scenes together, actually. I liked Felicity trying to drag Laurel away from killing that dude in the alley, and I don't know, it all kind of worked for me. I'm shocked. I'm saying it, but
yeah,
I didn't hate it.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good setup that I'm not sure it's gonna last. And on Twitter, at Aunt Betty Taylor agrees with me. She says some people aren't on board with the Felicity Siren relationship. 1, Felicity can see some good in Black Siren. 2, it's a ruse to make viewers think Black Siren is redeemed, and we find out later she's still a villain. So some people a little suspicious of this.
That would be the most interesting choice the show could make, I think, is to make her do another double cross as kind of a long con thing. I think the obvious route is the redemption route. Mm-hmm. But I thought we could trust you, but curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal would be an interesting choice. We'll see. Yeah. I'm just so excited to see, like I said, that kick back and have friends and be able to kind of have a life outside of the bunker and work and things like that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I just am surprised to find that it's Siren is the one that's happening with, but okay.
Yeah.
Also, would Quentin have been proud of her? Would Earth 1 Quentin have
It doesn't matter because I'm not going to say it.
We all know in your heart what you mean. Mostly I miss the bunker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. I like the citizenry blowback on Oliver. I thought that was kind of interesting that the public is like, nah, I don't want this guy in the police. I that kind of real world approach was kind of cool. Also, I petition that we only ever refer to him as Spawn of Slade. That's great. And here endeth my thoughts on Arrow this week.
All right. One other thing, there was from @Molly2910. Why are people immediately thinking of a monetary inheritance? There are other things you can inherit, like the Green Arrow legacy. Will we be seeing future Williams suit up?
I think she's absolutely right. That the legacies they're talking about here is guilt or mission or talent or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't you think? I mean, do you think by the end of the season we'll see William in the suit?
Oh, for sure. I think we're definitely going towards that direction. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it in the next couple of weeks. And yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about Amico.
Oh, yeah, right.
I thought I did like the, kind of the journey that Oliver went on this week. I thought emotionally, I think, where he's really just confronted with his dad. I like that they didn't sugarcoat it, and kind of make it, yeah, but it's my dad, where it's like, no, my dad screwed up, and now I got to think about what I do right now. And,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be that person anymore. And I thought it, the way of him trying to reach out to his sister and say, we can still be a family. We don't, you don't have to close yourself off for me. I want to help you. And that's not just an easy thing that she can just do. She, that she wasn't willing to just open up, and it took an episode for her to at least be open to doing that it wasn't just like, oh, hey bro, let's just hang out.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, on the one hand, Oliver's not his dad. Oliver didn't know about her. This is not his fault, and he really has done the best possible things he could do in this scenario. So I understand her feelings, but Oliver is being a good dude and trying, and so I'm hoping. I don't want her to be, but I have to sympathize with her too, that she has a lot of distrust and things like that. So I want the Queen siblings to work it out, but also I miss Thea. So, okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's, all right. News on Arrow?
Nah, not really. We have a bunch of CW news that we'll get to in the news section. So for the rest of these CW shows, we're kind of newsless.
All right. So we'll move it on. We've got to chug along now. So next up is Black Lightning, Season 2, Episode 11, The Book of Secrets, Chapter 1, Prodigal Son. Jennifer had an accident, got control of her powers, and asked Lynn if she might be able to help the dying Khalil. After Reverend Holt was poisoned, Jefferson and Henderson became desperate to bring Tobias to justice. Tobias became excited when Todd's spying uncovered that Dr. Helga Jace had recently worked with the ASA. Last minute reveal, after Tobias slammed through a wall, Dr. Jace gave them access to the pod children.
Oh, man. So, line of the episode was, Khalil is not a car. Thank you, Lynn. You are correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot going on in this episode. Jennifer kind of coming into her own, and still trying to figure out what's going on with these powers. And you had Khalil. That was a really sad moment. And also Reverend Holt at the top of this episode. He's dead, right? Like that's...
Here's the thing. I thought Gamby was dead, which foolish me. But now I don't trust anybody's death. So this is the show that cried wolf. I don't know. I don't know who's dead. I thought everybody was dead, but no, I don't know. So, but yeah, it felt that way to me.
Yeah, I think he's dead. Oh man. Yeah. And this one also 3 very different storylines. But still I think gelled together. Another plot thread that I didn't really mention because it didn't put Anissa and Grace are having some kind of friendly moments.
Get you a woman who will bring greasy food to the hospital waiting room when you're camped out there. That was nice of her.
Yeah. I was expecting that to go somewhere else, but it just kind of stopped there. Grace is still around.
Like you said, it's a busy episode. She popped up to remind us. And,
Yeah. This is another episode where I feel like if one of us was related to a doctor, we would be much angrier at Lynn right now.
Yeah. All of my anger this week is for all the journalism stuff. Actually, I am related to a couple of doctors. My siblings both married doctors, and my sister's a nurse practitioner. So I guess I could call them and be like, "Hey, but."
So yeah, if someone just like barged into your hospital and said, "We're going to take your patient and subject him to unregulated experimental medicine that hasn't been approved by the FDA,"
you'd probably call somebody, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd make a call to somebody to be like, "Hey, can we stop security?"
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What's going on here? Like, yeah. And also kind of like Lynn goes through all of that and it doesn't really help at all.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. She gets all of there and makes the big steak and everything, and then she has to turn to Jennifer and goes, "Oh yeah, no, we can't do anything."
He's worse than I thought. So sorry.
Yeah. How mad do you think Lynn's coworkers must be? Like,
also the insurance companies, right? Like, how do we bill for this? What is even the medical code for this?
Yeah. All that.
So does this mean Jen has a future in medicine? I mean, seriously asking, does this nudge her toward a career in healthcare if she can fix people's electrical systems?
I mean, I think it's possible. I don't see why not. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she would rather do that than the superheroics.
I would argue that is superheroics, but yeah, yes. I see what you mean.
but I mean, then suiting up and
then suiting up. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, no. suiting up and punching people.
Yeah. Although, why not both? Oh, can we just take a second to talk about Buick Becky? There, get away from my car! I'm calling the police. That was great. That was a great spoofing of all those white women. Thank you, show, for giving us Buick Becky. Yeah.
Okay.
She deserved to have her car set on fire.
Yes.
Let's see. Tobias is still listening to really aggressive jazz.
Yes.
I just felt like I needed to point that out.
Yes. Yeah. And Todd is like really into it. Todd,
man, I don't know. If your new boss rips out a spine implant in front of you, rethink your path, dude.
I think he's just like, well, I'm in it now. I might as well go all the way.
I gotta be the best employee I can be.
I do not want to get fired.
He's right, though. I mean, you do not.
And yeah, and like breaking Helga Jace out is way too easy. I thought the way they just like blatantly ripped off Superman 2. and just like, all right, just stand there. Okay, here's the hologram. We're gonna go. They just set it up. I thought that was really interesting. I'm like, what does Tobias want to do with those pod kids? Like, is he gonna unleash them? Like, what's the deal here?
The most interesting possible scenario is a Tobias Whale army of superpowered pod people, right?
Yeah. This is scary. I don't like where this is going. And and Jefferson, letting Henderson in on the fact that Gamby's more than just a tailor. He's still a tailor, but he's more than just a tailor.
Is he still a tailor? I feel like he probably has not completed any orders in a long time.
Hey, you never know. I mean, I bet you that's the kind of business. If he sells like one suit a month, he's set.
That's true.
It's that kind of high margin business. I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone will call a tailor and say, you don't know what you're talking about. But
I assume bespoke suits are not cheap.
No.
So
no.
Yeah.
No. No, they are not cheap. But
Ed says from his closet of bespoke suits, lovingly caressing the fabrics.
But yeah, it look, and I'm trying to figure out, like, are they building this case? Is this really going to matter if Tobias has his own army? All this legwork that Gamby and that Jefferson and Henderson are doing.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see.
Yeah. All right. Did you have anything more?
No news on this guy either. No, not really.
All right. Well, that was Black Lightning for you. Next up is The Flash, Season 5, Episode 12, Memorabilia. Sherlock's memory machine arrived, and to avoid Barry learning her secrets, Nora jumped into Cicada's niece Grace's memories alone and found herself trapped. Iris got an opportunity to start her own newspaper, but was having second thoughts. Cisco went along with Ralph to question a witness and found himself at a guy's night out. Last minute reveal, Barry told Cisco he plans to use the metagene cure on Cicada.
You don't turn a blog into a newspaper, Ed.
No?
That's not how it works. We have... Look, this is not the main point of this episode, but we have just endured massive layoffs among big, seemingly solid news organizations. BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, all of these big organizations have had massive cuts. And Iris wants to turn her one-woman blog, which, how is she monetizing that? She does not have time to sell ads running Team Flash, and she wants to turn that into a physical newspaper. Oh my God, call me Flash. I will be your media consultant. None of that makes sense. Okay, we can talk about the rest of the episode now.
Okay.
Everybody who tweeted at me after this episode aired, thank you for your concern. Yes, I felt exactly the way you thought I was going to feel. Thank you for checking in on me.
So you don't think anyone at BuzzFeed isn't gonna send their resumes to the Central City Citizen?
Oh God, they can send them. How's Iris going to pay them? How is she renting office space with a courtyard view? How is that? Local journalism is dying. And look, I want Iris to kickstart it, but this is not the way, Iris West, Alan. This is not the way.
Yeah. I think the thing that's missing here is, like, if you're going to go that direction, you need to, like, but no one's done a local newspaper like this. To have some kind of, like, innovative.
At least. Exactly. At least have somebody be like, seriously, in this climate? I mean, there's got to be some, I don't know. If she was trying to launch an online endeavor, sure, I can dig it. That makes sense. And maybe she's using newspaper to mean online endeavor, and she doesn't mean physically printing and distributing, because that boggles the mind. Boggles, I tell you. Okay, but let's talk about the Flash Museum. How cool was that?
Oh, it was cool. It was really cool.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Barry enjoying that.
Yeah. I also thought it was very interesting because they basically took all of the regular Flash merchandise that DC has put out over the last couple of years and just, okay, let's just have Flash comic books and Flash action figures and just throw them all up here. And it's almost like they just went to the back offices at DC, just took a couple of things off the shelf.
They're crates of unsold merch.
Yes. Yeah, and I thought, the Hall of Villains and everything else. I thought all that was really cool to see. And also, for Barry and Iris to kind of see that and kind of see, Nora growing up. I thought that was cool. I thought it was, you do have those interesting Easter eggs where, like, now Barry's kind of tuning into the same thing Sherlock knows. Sherlock already knows. That maybe there's more going on with Nora than she's letting on. Yeah.
I loved Barry saying this might be my only chance to see her at that age. He's accepted the reality of things, and I thought that was a nice little moment there. Have we met the Red Death yet?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Cool. Do you think that they are teasing something to come, or are they just name checking somebody from comics?
It could be either one. I did also see, there was, there's a, there were a lot of different things that were in there. I almost want to go back and watch that scene when I'm not taking notes, so I could probably, I might be able to catch a couple of other things that they were letting on. And it's kind of this weird habit that Flash has done where they're kind of like previewing villains like a couple seasons before they show up, because I know they definitely did that with the Thinker. So Red Death could be coming up in the next season or two. And now Nora, getting to meet Grace and realizing like, oh, she's not really a nice little kid.
No, that was the best part of this episode. Twist: Grace is kind of a dick.
I don't know. She doesn't want to wake up, or no, we don't want her to wake up. Like,
we need her to stay asleep.
This is not good at all.
I thought that was awesome though, because so often, you've got that precocious little kid who that just kind of is the Hollywood version of the little kid. So when you find out that she actually is not a good influence there. I saw an interesting article on Screen Rant questioning if future Cicada is actually Grace.
Oh,
think about that for a second. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I definitely got that vibe coming on here. Especially when you see how many kills were racked up. Oh yeah, sure, sure. Why not? Yeah, I definitely. And let's get to the real part of this episode. The thing everyone really wants to know, which is Ralph taking Cisco to that bar.
Listen, who better? Ralph grew up in a time when his mom dated the Zamboni driver. So that dude knows a good time.
Yes. Yeah. And, Cisco scored some digits. I dig
it.
Yeah.
So kind of like I was saying with John Diggle on Arrow, I kind of don't recognize Cisco at this point as the same Cisco we knew.
Oh yeah, he's definitely different. I really get the sense that like they're kind of turning him in. That I would be very surprised if he's still around next season.
I feel similarly, and I still have not seen any chatter online news-wise about him leaving or booking another gig or whatever. But he is so pulling away from the central superhero storylines. I don't like it. I like the Cisco character and I don't like what they're doing with him, but we're on this ride. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And I think, and what's interesting is, kind of because he's developing this cure. And I actually think that next episode, we're going to see a real big fight between Barry and Cisco and Caitlin. Because, I think that, what Barry is suggesting and using it on Cicada is exactly the kind of thing that they don't want. They want to do this so that metas have a choice and not like, okay, if you use your powers improperly, we're just going to take you out willy-nilly. So I think that we have a very interesting moral and ethical dilemma that's going to be coming up soon.
Mm-hmm. This is cool what they're setting up. I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing I wanted to point out was how very cheerful the Flash Museum is about mass murder. I mean, they have that like, this person was responsible for this many deaths. Oh my gosh, you got to moderate your tone there, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those weird segues you see in the local news. Where it's three people were shot and killed. We were pretty, and officials say Talk Screen showed that the shooter was on 3 forms of cocaine and PCP at the time. And in Greendale, we have a lovely bake sale going on for the basketball game. It's just one of those weird turns.
And you can hear the yep, and you go from gravelly voice to in other news.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Any news for Flash?
Nope. We're gonna get to all the CW news. Don't you worry.
All right. And our final episode for this week is Gotham, Season 5, Episode 5, Legend of the Dark Knight, Penadora. The army arrived in Gotham and helped Jim chase down Enigma, who was racing to prove his innocence. Bruce was worried about Selina, who was in the midst of a bender at Sirens. Last minute reveal, a creepy doctor showed off his work to Jeremiah, who was looking forward to a family reunion.
Ed, you anthropomorphizing nincompoop, dogs can't smile.
Oh my god, so much about this.
This is the most fun show we're watching right now, right?
Yes, yeah. I watched this. My father's best friend is staying with us. He's in town from Virginia, and I watched this episode with him and my parents, and they had no idea what was going on. It was
That's fair.
This show is bonkers. It is so. Oh, and you have so many weird relationships that are going on right now. The whole tete-a-tete with Oswald and Ed is kind of if I kill you, if I hate you, you will know. I will stare you in the face as I stab you in the heart. And that's love. That's real respect. It's that whole thing was very strange. And what's weird is
I like the show when those two characters are bouncing off each other, though. I was really pleased that they finally have.
Yeah. And what's weird, like the B story, with Bruce, it was very just kind of like, yeah, Bruce is worried about Selina, and that's like the whole thing. That's
been the whole thing since season 1, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it's like, he tells Alfred, I'm worried about Selina. And then he goes to Selina and says, I'm worried about you. And she goes, yeah, I saw your parents die and I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Ouch.
And then he just goes to Harvey, and Harvey's like, it's a little thanks. That's it.
Oh yeah, my notes this week are entirely Ed, and then hey Bane, and then that's it. I didn't even bother with the Bruce stuff, honestly, because it was this is clearly nudging the ball down the field, but we're not near the interesting stuff, whatever's going to happen there.
No, but there were great moments along the way. I just realized, I think that's the first time that Bruce and Harvey have had a moment alone together. And, and it's this kind of Harvey kind of gives them that fatherly uncle advice, and it's this very small, poignant moment that just, I felt a lot of emotion behind that. It spoke to me. I don't know. But yeah. And, Jim.
It's because Donald Logie's such a great actor.
Yes.
I mean, he can elevate those things.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And, you had Jim running around with Eduardo Durance.
And his goatee.
Yeah. First up, the whole thing where Jim is sort of covering for the bad guys while his best friend wants to hunt them down. It's not a great look.
No.
I think.
Well, you gotta understand. It's yeah.
Yeah, I think Jim's a little too far in now. I think it's This is not a good look at all. What happened to the guy who just got all gravelly voice and screamed and punched everybody? You know, that we had in season 1. Now he's like, all right, give me the information. All right, you can slip out a back window. What? This is crazy. Yeah. This show's all over the place. I love it. I thought it was great. And we got Hugo Strange back.
Okay, now give us Lee. Give us Lee.
Yes.
Give us Lee.
Where is Lee?
I would say Ed's head being stapled together while his eyes are still open. Horrifying. Horrifying.
And to be fair, I was expecting a much louder scream when he got woken up. They explained
it was fun.
You can't move, but you could feel everything I'm doing to you. Like, I just, ow.
Question. We glossed over the rednecks capturing Ed. Did you know when they accuse him of killing JoJo that JoJo was 100% going to be a dog?
Oh,
because I for sure did.
Oh yeah, it had to be.
It had to be.
It had to be.
And I loved Ed's "Don't throw me in the briar patch."
Yeah.
Oh no, not the briar patch. Anything but the briar patch. That whole scene was great, and I love that Gotham has rednecks.
Yeah. What weird suburb did they drag him out to?
I know. What? That's a part of Gotham we have not seen before. I feel like it's how on Black Lightning, that town is right next to like woods and hillbillies.
Mm-hmm.
Same. Where did the hillbillies come from? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are backwoods of Staten Island that, you know, you could kind of like there are parts where like Staten Island sort of turns into kind of like an Italian Alabama.
Does every state have like Alabama parts? Because we definitely have Alabama parts here in Illinois.
Oh yeah. It's like all of Pennsylvania between Philly and Pittsburgh. It's just Alabama.
I learned that in the far underrated TV show Banshee. I thought, I mean, it felt like Justified, but in Pennsylvania, and I was just shocked. But it's such a good TV show. So.
Yeah. I need to introduce you to my father's friend Tom, who's staying with us, who is a Banshee proselytizer.
Oh, please tell him that I feel him, and more people need to understand that this is an amazing action show with great acting and some hot sexual chemistry. People need to watch Banshee. All right.
Yes. He's lamenting that Cinemax forgot who they were when they canceled that show.
They did bring back Strike Back, so they're trying, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Put him on the microphone. I have things to say to him. I agree with you, sir. Cinemax's brand is we take a lot of time making sure when people get shot, there's a fine spray of pink mist. That's Cinemax. Like, we want to make sure the pink mist is really authentic.
Yes.
And they've really strayed from that. I agree.
This is hard R. Yeah, it's everything about this R is hard.
Oh my god, that needs to be their tagline for the channel. Our R's are hard. But we're talking about Gotham.
Yes, talking about Gotham.
Ooh, while I'm straying onto other TV shows, I just finished Russian Doll on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
We sat down to try the first episode, and 4 hours later had seen the whole thing. I laughed, I cried. It was better than Cats. It was incredible. Everybody, 30-minute episodes, 8 of them. Go see Russian Doll.
Okay.
I felt every human emotion in 4 hours. It was great. Okay. I'm sorry. Do we have anything more to say about this episode of Gotham?
I think we've kind of pushed it. I think we're good.
I do have a little bit of news.
All right. What do you got?
Okay. Heroic Hollywood is reporting that the February 14th episode in the description includes the line, Barbara reveals news that will change Jim Gordon's life forever.
Oh,
Ed, she's pregnant. She's gotta be, right?
She's preggers. She's pregnant.
Or she got the herp. I'm kidding.
Ooh.
She's totally pregnant.
Yeah. Twins. It's gonna be twins. She's gonna drop Jim Jr. and Barbara Jr. on his doorstep and leave. This is, I think I predicted this like a couple of years ago. Or I think I've definitely mentioned it at least once or twice in the show that I feel like she's going to have those kids and die or leave them with him. And, he'll now I think most people know Barbara Gordon grows up to be Batgirl. And then, depending on your DC continuity, she's also the Oracle at certain points. What?
So I just got sad.
Yeah. What do you know anything about James Gordon Jr.?
Zero. I know nothing.
Oh. Well, actually, he sort of follows in his mother's footsteps. And
well, now who is their mother in the comics?
And their mother, her name is Barbara Keene. And she was a normal housewife, but she abandoned Jim and the kids when they were teenagers, because Jim had an affair with a coworker and Barbara couldn't take it and she just ran off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like the mom was around in the comics either.
No.
Interesting.
No. There was a really good storyline written by Scott Snyder in Detective Comics, like right before the New 52, where Barbara came back, and it was basically to warn everybody that she thought James Jr. was homicidal, and he turns out to be a serial killer.
Oh no.
Yes. And when Dick Grayson was Batman, that I think was his best storyline was tracking James Gordon Jr. And he later on became a formidable foe for his sister as well.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's this weird dynamic. But also the fact that like Babs has become this homicidal maniac on Gotham, it almost seems like okay, so this is where James Jr. gets it. So that's something that's not in the comics that would be interesting. Although, since this is the last season, we're probably never going to see that play out. Or I wonder if James Jr. will even be there, if she'll just leave Jim with Barbara. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
And we could be completely misremembering or not misinterpreting, and it's not a pregnancy thing at all, but it's going to be. I mean, like,
yeah,
right.
Yeah. I got. She reveals that she recently got a shipment of zucchini in.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, we joked about this off air that I could do a Type 5 on contraception in Gotham right now, but like,
yes.
They can't. There's no way there are condoms left in there. You've blown through the supply of birth control. Everybody's used up all the condoms because it's live for today. So, I mean, rhythm method. It's just the rhythm method let them down. So,
okay. Although, if anyone in Gotham has contraceptives, it's Babs.
That's the first thing they stockpiled at the Sirens Club. She sends her people out, get all the condoms.
Yes.
You raid the pharmacies, you raid the convenience stores, you bring them to me.
So
also, I feel like Jim is responsible enough that he'd pack a box away just in case.
Yeah.
Just put it in my desk drawer.
He has like 3 in his wallet at all times.
Oh, he is a Boy Scout, always prepared.
All right, and
anyway,
that's it. Is that the news for Gotham?
That's the news for Gotham. You want to blaze through the rest of the news?
All right, news for other shows.
Okay. So the Television Critics Association Winter Press Tour took place this past week, and essentially everything that we watch and talk about on the CW has been renewed. They renewed pretty much everything that hasn't already announced that it's in its final season. So all of our favorite DC shows are coming back: Arrow, Supergirl, Flash, Legends, Black Lightning. That's 5. What's interesting is CW President Mark Pedowitz, when talking at the TCA tour, said, "Oh yeah, all 6 DC shows are blah, blah, blah." And everybody in the audience went, 60? Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends, Black Lightning, Batwoman makes 6? He's not confirmed anything, but he totes said 6 DC shows. Yeah. So I think we're getting a Batwoman.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. They also talked quite a bit about the crossover for 2019. They say that Crisis on Infinite Earths will be the biggest, most complicated crossover yet. They're not saying if it'll follow the comics. Pedowitz says it's highly likely somebody will die. Probably they're going to remix what happens in the comics. They're not sure if the Legends are going to participate yet, but I don't know. I feel like, all signs are pointing to Oliver Queen. Right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't want that, but that would be a remix of the comics, the way they're writing Arrow right now. You kind of get a sense. And then Pedowitz talked about how interested they are in cultivating the next generation of characters for spin-offs and for continuations of stories. So I'm assuming he's talking about your Nora on Flash, your William on Arrow, things like that. So they're definitely looking to Degrassi this with next generation spin-offs.
I'd love to see an Emiko Queen TV show. If she takes over on Arrow, I think that would be interesting.
So do you think they should keep it Arrow though if she takes over, or does it need to be a different show at that point?
I think you could go either way. You can go either way. I would keep it Arrow. But also because that's the one thing that's advantageous in that title is that it's not Green Arrow, it's Arrow. So just basically you could have any Archer headline that show.
Yeah, true. It's a good point.
Mm-hmm. But or they could make it Emiko. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be really curious. Really curious if they do what it seems like they're gonna do in the crossover, which is kill Oliver because he made the deal in the crossover. I don't know. We'll have to see. So, coming to your TVs in late 2019. That's really it for the CW news that I dug up. We do have a couple of short little stories on a couple of other shows, starting with Lucifer. We have a bit more information about the character Graham McTavish is playing. Father McKinley is a priest obsessed with a prophecy about Lucifer. The prophecy says the devil walks the earth, and when he finds his first love, evil will be released upon the world. So when you put that next to, we have Eve guest starring on the show this season, finding his first love. Is Chloe his first love? Does that mean they're going to be in love, both of them? Is it going to be Eve? I don't know. But that to me kind of tells you how those pieces are going to fit together with Father McKinley, with some of the casting and the direction of the storylines. Give us a release date, Netflix.
Yes.
Give us a release date.
Yes. Please, in June. Please, June. I'm...
Oh, God. Please. If this drops around the same time that we also have Doom Patrol, I don't know, man. We're going to have to break our podcast up into two parts.
Doom Patrol's in 2 weeks.
I know. Yeah.
I know.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day to us.
Yeah.
So that's Lucifer. Up next, Krypton. Here's a show we haven't talked about much. Ed joked off air last week that we haven't heard anything from Krypton recently, and here, look what we have. 2 things for you. Number 1, we have a poster for season 2, a motion poster that has half of Seg's face and half of Zod's face split down the middle by flickering fire. So clearly we're going to have Seg-El versus Zod in season 2. And we have a first look at Emmett Scanlon suited up fully as Lobo. I gotta say, Ed, I am very sexually confused by this picture because he's got the abs and he's got the motorcycle bad boy thing. Mama like. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah. But then he looks like a zombie, pasty skin and the red eyes. He looks really terrifying. He's sexy terrifying. I don't know what to make of it.
He looks like Lobo. Now, I think I've seen...
Ed's like, stop it. He looks like Lobo.
I've seen pictures of this before, but this is more of an action pose. And I just think you could tell this actor is having so much fun with this part. And I can't wait to see... I can't wait to see it on the show and see how the hell it blends in with that super serious Krypton that we've got.
I cannot wait. This is what I was missing, I think, in Krypton season 1 is this anarchic joy
The fun.
If that makes sense. And thank you, the fun. I'm hoping that's what this is. I'm hoping it won't be quite as many self-serious conversations in beautifully lit, tall marble hallways and more sexy, scary biker dude. That's what I want. That's what I'm in it for.
Right.
We'll see. Okay, last news of the week is for Titans. We have a photo of a Wonder Girl costume test. So we are getting our first look at what her super suit looks like, and I gotta say, I love it.
Cool. Yeah. I thought it's very true to like the OG Teen Titans Wonder Girl. With the red and the white stars. I was impressed. Yeah. And I think she looks great in it. I can't wait to see it in action.
I was amused that it's sort of short sleeved. I feel like you either have sleeveless or long sleeve. You don't often see the short sleeve. I think about OG Robin when I think about that, but I mean, I guess that fits then because it's Titans. But it looks really good. I'm excited. I hope that means a bigger role for her in season 2 because I loved everything about her appearances in season 1 of Titans. Yeah. So bring on Wonder Girl.
All right. Yeah, she was my favorite guest star. I thought, we need her around.
I liked all the Doom Patrol people too.
Yeah.
They were all good, but no, she was great. Okay, anyway, so that's it for news.
All right, which means now it's time for our winners for the week. Sarah, you want to go first?
Sure. Whereas I usually do something dumb like Ralph won because his mom dated a Zamboni driver, I actually have a thematic one this week, and that is the importance of memory.
Ah, okay.
So you've got on Flash, Grace in the coma and how she's remembering things that happened and how that's, affecting her responses to when people invade her dreams. On Supergirl, you've got Alex's memories been tampered with and that changed her entirely. You've got, I guess, the memory of Papa Queen on Arrow and how that's affecting both of his children and how they respond to each other. You've got Ed's shaky memory on Gotham coming into play here in the big playoff. I don't know. I just thought there was a lot of different ways to approach conversations about memory, and most of the shows this week really touched on that. I thought that was very cool. So, memory, winner of the week.
Cool. Mine was true friendship.
Aw.
And I found this through all the shows. On Supergirl, Kara and Nia had that bond, and Kara was really showed her true friendship in that reveal and saying, "Hey, you can trust me. I know what you've been through." On Arrow, you had Laurel and Felicity getting really close and sort of forming that bond over figuring out who this creepy guy was. On Black Lightning, you had Jefferson and Inspector Henderson really coming together and showing that trust and with open secrets and things like that. And on The Flash, you had Ralph reaching out to Cisco, and kind of being like, "Hey, I just wanted a friend to hang out with, someone to have fun with." I thought, and of course, my favorite example of this is on Gotham, where Oswald and Ed came together and said, "Hey, man, if I tried to kill you, you will know it's me. And that's my promise to you." I think that that is the dark, creepy, insane friendship that will last through all of this. True, real friendship. That's my winner for the week.
Ah, that's nice.
Any last thoughts for this week, Sarah?
No. This was excellent TV. Well done, everybody making TV this week. Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks for that, TV people.
Yes, thank you. Go enjoy the Super Bowl. Hope it was a fun time listening to this. I think both Supergirl and Gotham are off next week. But we'll definitely be going up, and thanks everyone for listening. That's going to be the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
And I'm at Sara Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice and rate and review us. That helps more people find us. Check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer, Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam!
Shazam!